All right, we're here with Pastor Brad Snyder and Pastor Brandon Woodard, leaders of New Post Church. Guys, welcome. So glad that you're here. Church Online, I was just telling you a little bit about their journey and how they have changed their name, and I wanted you to hear it directly from them. So guys, tell me a little bit about how you arrived at the place right where you're at right now as part of the network and changing your name and you coming on staff. How did that all happen?
Well, it's a 25-year journey, actually. We just finished up our first generation of ministry, and about 18 months ago, God began to move on my heart that it was time to move in a little different direction. I'm more of the past than the future.
Okay.
And so my role basically was to get the church positioned for the next generation, strengthen it, kind of identify where we were going to be long term. So God graciously helped us sell some property and gave us some property.
Wow.
And we're in the process of closing on the sale of our old building. Led us to Fredericksburg Christian School, where we're meeting now.
Oh, wow.
And then this guy came on the scene.
How did that happen? How did Brandon come into the mix? Because you were a pastor at NEWLIFE.
I
right?
was, yeah.
Okay.
So basically what happened was I was working here with Pastor Robert Hilson, and he released me in January of 2018. He said, hey, if you want to plant a church in Fredericksburg, I think we can do it. I think the network's ready. And I said, okay. So I started going and looking for property for some place that we could plant a church. And that's when I stumbled on this guy and mentioned that, hey, he actually doesn't just have property for sale, but he's looking for somebody to kind of, left hand, right hand kind of stuff sit together and then eventually take over that spot. And my heart's in Fredericksburg. That's where we got our house. That's where my kids are. So we looked at it, and I cold called him on a Tuesday evening in the Walmart parking lot, and then the rest, it just kind of flowed. It worked, and we ended up kind of making this partnership, jumping in the network, and
Wow.
me moving down there. So.
Wow, so you have two different generations of leadership styles and yet the same passion and vision for Fredericksburg. What would you say is your vision and your passion for that area?
Actually, our vision goes back to our founding pastor, Gerald Rogers. Basically, was to plant a church that would plant churches.
Oh, wow.
And we're all deeply committed to building Wesleyan churches up and down the I-95 corridor.
Mm-hmm.
And that vision hasn't changed.
Wow.
What's so interesting is when we first started talking and I linked up with him, I said that my vision is to plant churches up and down the 95 corridor. And he said, well, that's exactly what Pastor Gerald had in mind. And then talking to Pastor Gerald, he's like, that's what I was thinking 25 years ago when I planted this church. And so it all just, the way God worked it was really amazing and really divine for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. So you guys have been Fredericksburg Wesleyan Church. You have been affectionately called by short FredWes, yes. And now you're New Post Church. Mm-hmm. Why a name change at this stage in the game?
Well, the biggest reason is because when we made our move from Fredericksburg Central to really going more towards the New Post area, like where we're meeting right now is a mobile site at Fredericksburg Christian School. It's actually in the New Post community. It's right there. And okay. What's really interesting, that piece of property that was donated, it's in New Post. So in fact, really God renamed us when he gave us that property. And it's, it's 5 acres, 20,000 square feet that we're going to be able to build on. And we just felt God's call that is our community. And that's where he's positioned us, is to reach out to those people. So we renamed the church after.
That's perfect. Fits in really well with the NEWLIFE mission statement, which is to make a significant impact in every community that we serve. And really adopting that community and making your whole identity about that community is really, really exciting. So if you were to, throw just something to the wind right now, what would be your day that you're going to break ground on that new property that was donated?
I mean, we're probably looking at 2 to 3 years we'll be able to break ground. I mean, with the way permitting happens in Virginia and the way that we're selling our old building that we had that we've outgrown, we're selling that. So we're going to get some finances from that'll speed our process along. So probably around 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to have an actual building sitting in New Post.
Wow, that is exciting. Well, I hope a lot of you watching will maybe get plugged in. If you're in that area somewhere in Fredericksburg or the New Post community, then you really need to check out New Post Church. I'm going to get it right. Don't worry. You stay with me and practice with me. New Post Church. I'm used to calling it FredWes. But man, we're excited for you guys. How can people find you guys on the web, and how can they come and visit you? What's the address? And tell them everything they need to know.
Well, the quickest thing is if you just Google Fredericksburg Christian School, that's our address. That's the quickest way to do it. And then if you go on to newpost.church, that's our website, and it has everything on there, service times and old messages that we have up and everything that you need right there, one-stop shop.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for doing this and catching up with me this week and letting us know a little bit about what God is up to. Hey, we'll get back to the service at this time.